No reply from Esther this time. It must have been delayed due to the heavy snow. The postman said I won't receive any more letters until spring. I'd better get back to the rat house then. Still more work to be done. Okay. Christmas approaches. I haven't even chosen what the revolt thing is going to look like. Good morning, Dad. I finally caught up on the mural. Now I can start the final part today. I promise I'll get it done. Magdalene, I'm proud of you. Thanks, Dad. I'm sorry Dr. Stoll says you can't come to the festivities today. I know how much you love the Perchtenlauf, Germanic folk ritual celebrated around Christmas time, in which townsfolk dress as Perchten and drive evil spirits from the town to protect it for the coming new year. Ah, there's always next year. Yes. How are you feeling? Dr. Stoll says he would come by again today. Fine, I'm fine. Maybe I should stay home with you today. No, Magdalene, if you want to work, you should work. It's all right. In fact, my spirits lifted today. It's Christmas Eve, after all. Of course. What's wrong? I found a note back in November. A note? What do you mean? It's like a note I found in your plans for the murals. Just a scrap of parchment. It looked like it came out of an old manuscript. Elaborate writing, purple ink. It just said, stop. Do you know where they came from? Who wrote them? Magdalene, That must be Otz. He said he would drop by with some more firewood. If you know something, I'd like you to tell me, alright? I know, I will. Can we talk about it later? Dad. I tell you, I'll promise. Alright. I'll be back later. Good. Take care of yourself out there. Go outside. Someone's going to break in and murder him, aren't they? It's the kind of thing that will happen. He's trying to. He wants to reveal information to us. Morning, Magdalene. Morning, Utz. Cold out, isn't it? Freezing. Makes me envy Nico, able to stay inside all day. Even Endris has his forge to keep him warm. Anyway, here, I brought some firewood for you and your dad. Thank you, Utz. You're welcome. So, how's your dad? You think you can join everyone for Christmas Mass? I think he'll stay in bed tonight. I'll do my best to be there. I'll need to keep working on the mural, though. I'm working on the final section. About the Peasants' Revolt, right? Feels weird to talk about. It affected Tassing so much, but we were just kids. Can't remember what happened since I was just a baby. I never even knew my dad. That's what makes it difficult. I need to ask those who were already adults that night, but don't want to touch raw nerves. What if you spoke to people while everyone was preparing for the Christmas festivities? Clara sometimes talks about that night. Mum too. You might be able to ask them. Voislav and Matilda were the only two Benedictines left living in Tassing. Maybe they'll talk to me. Oh, I didn't think of that. Still, the mural is for Tassing, not the old abbey. Agnes has always been in Tassing, right? I'd go to her if I were you. Ooh. Dad said she helped bury everyone who died that night. I wonder if she'd talk about it. It's your project, Magdalene. Might be worth a try. I wrote to the old Archdeacon about it too. He thinks that the Baron's murder and Otto's death are connected to the revolt. The who? The man who came to Tassing for Baron Rothfigel's murder. What about him? He was the judge for the Baron's murder. What if all the deaths in Tassing are connected? I don't see how that old Baron has anything to do with the revolt. Are you feeling all right? I think you're looking for connections that aren't there. Maybe this mural project is getting to you. There's something more to all of this, I know it. If you're sure, I'll figure it out somehow. Thanks for the wood. See you later, Mags. Ugh. Odds is right. I should start talking to people around town. I better get started if I want to talk to everyone before the Perchtenlauf. Perchtenlauf. Remembering the revolt. Revolting the remembering. So we've got the inn, And the Gertner farm, and thingy. The midwife. Right. Let's... Which is not where I thought I'd be. Oh, it's up... Oh, it's upper level. Not upper level, but it's the slightly higher bit. There we go, central town. I think this is it. Agnes. Magdalene Druckerin. I didn't expect to see you today. How is your father? He's not well, honestly. Oh no, I'm so sorry. He'll be in our prayers tonight. Ours as well. Now then, is there something we can help you with, dear? You're old. I have a small favour to ask. Oh, go on then. Spit it out. If it isn't too much trouble, I'd like you all to recount what you remember of the revolt. I'm nearly done with my mural, but I need more details. I was so young, I don't remember much of that night. Oh, for that project of yours in the rat house? I'm afraid I won't have much good to say about the matter, but all right. Come sit down, Magdalene. Don't worry about helping with the wreaths. It took me years to get the technique up to Mum's expectations, so you're better off not helping. Pa, you always did fine, Brigitte. Brigitte? Oh. So, Magdalene, what do you need to know to finish the mural? I was hoping to ask you more about the revolt. All I can remember was the flames when the abbey burned. What part of the revolt? The abbot starving us out of house and home? Otto's murder? I doubt that would be a good point painting. It seems like the abbot at Kiersau wasn't on very good terms with Tassing. Everyone but that miller hated him, with good reason. He only ever cared for how many pfennigs he could get from us. Brigitte, don't forget to twist the ends and can't have it looking like a Christmas hedgehog. I'm getting there, Mum. I've looked after Martin and Kraft well enough, haven't I? I can manage this. Yes, well, after your father died, I've got no one left to nag besides you and that husband of yours. Thank God I have the both of you, as a matter of fact. That old woman have her vices. The Gertner house was a bit sad. Jorg always gets quiet this time of year. Well, whatever for? I reckon because that family's been hard-pressed since Peter died. Tassing's lost a good number of folk over the years, and feast days and celebrations make it harder to bear. Things to remember. You mean the revolt, right? The revolt, the murders. That fool Andreas had to meddle in everything. Didn't do too much good, if you ask me. Yeah, Dad said Master Marlin made some mistakes, but that he was seeking justice for everyone in town. And I think your father's right in that, and yet... He'd already meddled enough in Tassing after the Baron's murder that he held more sway than he knew. I could understand it the first time. He wanted to save that old monk. Dare say he saw him as a father. And it was proven the prior was a witch, so I suppose he did some good for Tassing then. I think Voislav might be the only person left in Tassing who even remembers the old prior. That's when the trouble started, I say. Townsfolk saw a monk killed, and the abbot was incensed. Then came the revolt, and Andreas Mahler happened to show up nearly the day of Otto's murder. Dad always says the townsfolk didn't stand with the peasants as long as they should have. Well, I won't begrudge Canlas's opinion, even if he's wrong. Shame it had to happen at all, I think. I knew the revolt was a bad idea from the start. Old Voislav would be the only one to know what happened inside the old church now, before the fire. Some like to say things were always this bad, that violence was the only way, but it wasn't. Life got worse over the years. It wasn't like this when I was a child, not in my grandparents' time either. Sure, the abbot was pinching the townsfolk and the peasants were suffering, but to go against the church? But like you said, things weren't always so bad. We fought to make things right. But things got better in the end, right? Even if so many people died. What kind of good comes from violence? I've never seen Peter so angry. That soldier even warned Peter, but nothing would stop him besides steel. So nothing got better at all? No, not as I see it. The Lord is just as severe as the abbot was and threatens force at every turn. That's life. You can struggle and die to accomplish something and nothing changes. The dead are luckier. They died believing they changed something. We're stuck with the harsh reality. This is all you've known, Magdalene. You've grown used to it. We all have. Oh, I see. Like I said, not the best piece for a mural, huh? Well, I want the mural to be as accurate as possible. Ugh, then I'm never setting foot in the rat house again. Oh, hush, Veronica. I'm sure Magdalene will paint it beautifully. Good luck, Magdalene. Okay. Who else is there to talk to? Oh, the Gertners and the... So the Gertner farm and the inn. So the Gertner farm. Gertner house. Ah, Big York. No. Who was I supposed to talk to? Clara? Oh, it was just the group. Hello, Magdalene. I would have thought you'd be working on the mural today. What brings you here? I'd like to sit with you and ask how you remember the rebellion, so I can paint it, if that's all right. That was a sad time. If it will help you memorial those we lost in the revolt, yes, I'll answer a few questions. I don't mind. I was a little older than you, so I probably remember more, Magdalene. Of course, Magdalene, we'll tell you all you want to know. I've been looking forward to seeing the mural for some months. Come now, sit with us. Now that you're all settled, what did you want to know? Did the revolt have anything to do with the other murder that happened in Tassing? Oh, the murder of the Baron, you mean? No, not really. I only remember that Andreas attempted to be a peacekeeper in both situations. I suppose that's when things started going poorly. Yes, after Prior Ferenic was discovered as a witch, people weren't as willing to trust the Abbey anymore. Then the Abbot became more severe. He didn't like that the Prior's death rattled his control of Tassing. I still think that the old Prior cursed the town. That's when crops started failing. I don't know about any of that, but his taxes and restrictions, and his attitude towards us became harsher after that. It was all we could do to live by them, but it eventually became too much. Even with all the restrictions, was the revolt really justified? I keep hearing conflicting stories about how it began. Agnes blamed Andreas for starting the revolt. Is that really true? Andreas only ever sought peace, from what I remember. He took it upon himself to try and keep justice in Tassing, even though it wasn't his home. Truly, it's thanks to him that we had peace for so long. We did everything we could to keep things from getting violent, but the Lord had other plans. I remember how sick and hungry I was all the time. Grandpa kept saying it hadn't always been like that. All was fine until Hannah, Nico's wife, killed Otto because she feared what would happen if the Abbey shut down. Well, my husband wouldn't let that rest. We all wanted justice. When that soldier arrived and threatened us, all the townsfolk pulled away, except for you and Ulrich, Gret. No, Clara, I'm afraid even I was intimidated, and I begged Ulrich to leave the matter be. My husband alone stood with the peasants. Dad always talks about how he regrets that choice. That's why he wanted to paint the mural. Your father's unique in that regard. Most of the other townsfolk see the revolt's failure as proof that it was doomed from the start. Truly, if the entire town banded together, we likely could have succeeded without violence at all. By then, we were so starved and wanted justice so much Peter truly thought success was possible. There was still some discussion. Ulrich and Andreas wanted peace. Then that miller protected Hannah. He always hated us, thought he was better than us. Ursula, language. What, Mum? It's true. Leonard even shot Ulrich out of nowhere. It was unprovoked? Yes, Leonard always did hate the rest of the townsfolk, and he would take advantage of anyone he could. My husband sought peace to the last. He was a martyr to us. I think the miller shot Ulrich to retaliate, but after that, Peter couldn't be stopped. We'd lost too much. Burning the Abbey was a grim night, and the soldiers coming in. Our men fought to protect us, to protect Tassing, and many died in that fight. But we got rid of the abbot and all the monks at least. Yes, and that's some comfort, if only a little. Are there any heroes of Tassing I should memorialise? Dad, definitely. Peter always wanted the best for Tassing, even if he acted rashly by setting fire to the abbey. I hope you can portray him in the best light, Magdalene. I'd rather not talk about that night anymore. I hope we provided enough insight for your work. I'll let you get back to work. Thank you. Thank you, Magdalene. I'm certain the mural will be beautiful. And then we go to the inn. Oh yeah, we're probably talking to Nico, aren't we? I'm assuming. Do we keep going this way? Okay, I've not gone the... Okay, I've gone a way. Not the way I normally go, but I've gone a way. Right, so... Meadow. And then into the Golden Hand. Casimir's... Oh, voice love! God bless you, Magdalene. Okay, so I can't talk to you. And there's no Nico. Do I talk to Killian? Hi, Mags. Sorry, I can't talk for long right now. I'm not going to... Yeah, hi, Killian. What's keeping you so busy? Oh, you know, setting up for the Christmas feast. It's always a lot of work. And Dad can't do it all alone. He pretends to be strong, but I think some of it is an act. He's growing older and sadder. I imagine he misses your mum. Yeah, I miss her too. He doesn't talk about her much anymore. I think he's ashamed. I'm not, though. She was still my mum. People say she did many bad things. Everyone does bad things sometimes, you know. When the monks were around, they told us all about God's forgiveness. Voislav talks about it too. So that's what I try to do. Forgive. Yeah, Martin Luther wrote that Christ gave himself into death for our sins. You know, our sins were serious, but the Lord has already forgiven her. Maybe everyone else should too. I think so too. Thanks, Magdalene. You've got a kind heart, Killian. Maybe. I just do what I think is right. How's your mural coming along, anyway? Well enough. I'm trying to learn more about the days of the revolt. I suspect many don't want to talk about that time. Painful memories. I think you're right. I don't blame them. Dad hasn't spoken about it in years. Oh, I'm sorry, Magdalene. I really have to get back to work. Be well. So where is Mr. Nico? Alright, so we want to go back down. Maybe I've missed him. Or maybe I meant to talk to someone else here. No, I meant to be in the golden hand. Okay, let's try talking to everyone else then. Hello, Magdalene. Oh, we talked to the group. Okay. Hello, Magdalene. How's the weather? We've been prepping for the feast in here all day. Cold than usual. Glad to be indoors now. It's been colder than I remember it being for decades. At least we're in here where we can keep our fingers warm. You'd better keep your fingers out of my dough, Master Bauer. I didn't do anything. You snuck your little fingers into my cookie dough 3 times today. Do it again. I'll wrap your knuckles with the back of my spoon. Don't anger Mistress Matilda, Simon. Yes, sir. Sorry, Mistress Matilda. You need enough dough to make cookies for the entire town. You can't be eating it all.